Hey guys, welcome to VGS Astro. Today I'm going to be spilling the beans on what's in store for India for the next 18 months from an astrological perspective. And please don't skip any part of this video. Please watch it till the end to appreciate the whole thing, my take on India's journey ahead in 2024. Now, India has Taurus as its lagna in its birth chart, and just until last month, Jupiter and Rahu were together in Aries within the 12th house. Hold up, let's break that down. The 12th house, it's like the realm of foreign countries, not just the neighbors, but places like the US, Canada, the Middle East, and Australia. So, this Jupiter Rahu conjunction created a Guru Chandal Yoga. Translation: it brewed some tension with foreign governments, sparked diplomatic standoffs, and led to some fiery movements. Why? Because Aries is a fiery sign, and Rahu was adding fuel to that fire. But hey, India handled it quite elegantly. Kudos to some brilliant leadership. Jupiter's wisdom tried to cool things down, but again, Rahu's influence made the country take assertive stances, dampening the flames to some extent, and India received solid support both domestically and from global allies, some even shutting down foreign bases in solidarity against critiques from countries like Canada. India is gearing up for some really big shifts in its labor force dynamics, and I'll delve deeper into that in a while. But first, let's look at the focus of the country. And before that, if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe below. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up and share this video with all your family and friends. Coming back to what is the focus of the country, Lagna represents the people of the country and also the land mass, right? And the 11th house represents the income or the revenue that the people are now generating. Now, why am I focusing on the 11th house? It's because we have Rahu in the Pisces sign in the 11th house since November 1st, which means that the country will see an increase in its revenue generating capacity. The country's economy is definitely going to see a big leap. But here's where it gets interesting. Pisces, being the 12th sign in the zodiac, indicates an impending trend of migration. Yes, you heard that right. A considerable movement of people to various countries, and the driving force behind this migration, you guessed it, the allure of financial prosperity. Individuals will seek opportunities abroad, either establishing new footholds or relocating in pursuit of better prospects. And really, there's nothing inherently wrong with that, is there? It's a natural quest for growth and opportunity. But hold on, look at where Ketu is. Ketu is now in the 5th house. And what is the 5th house? It is the house of children, it is the house of media, it is also the house of stock market. And here is where the plot thickens. So what's happening in the 5th? More and more individuals are being distanced from their roots. They're distanced from their country, their parents, their ancestral ties, as they venture to foreign lands in pursuit of better opportunities, as highlighted by Rahu's influence. But let's zone in on the impact of Ketu on children of the country. So the placement signals challenging times for many children. Picture this: separated from their families, far from home, and some even facing financial hardship because Ketu tends to induce monetary losses. As a result, consider the plight of numerous students who've migrated to places like Canada, grappling just to secure shelter over their heads. One article says Indian students who've recently landed in Canada are going around residential neighborhoods in Ontario's Kitchener, lugging their bags, pressing doorbells to know if there is any space available to be rented out. Some students are living in cars while others are forced into expensive motels that can cost up to $100 per day, and some of them are sharing a storeroom in some basement of some house, and they are paying about $600 or $650 as rent. So the entire $650 given as part of the GIC goes into paying rent. How will the students pay for grocery and phone bill? Asks But. Part-time jobs which were used earlier by students to stay afloat are few and far between these days, is what he is seen quoting. And another student, Gaurav Sharma, a student from Punjab's Kapurthala, tells India Today, whatever I had thought and planned before coming to India has been of no use to me, as the ground reality is really different. I thought getting a room and a job would not be so difficult, but it's really the opposite. Similar problems are also faced in the UK. In Australia, a journalist was quoted saying that the laws are changing and they're going to be enforcing a minimum English language requirement for student and graduate visas. It's a complex situation where the quest for better prospects drives individuals away, leaving a trail of difficult circumstances, especially for the younger generation who find themselves disconnected from their families, from their familial support, and grappling with financial strains due to Ketu's influence. For all you students out there facing these challenges in a foreign land, I want you to remember one thing. Tough times never last, but tough people certainly do. Brace yourself, because the situation might not take a turn for the next 1.5 years. From what I foresee, the next 1.5 years could pose significant difficulties, especially for students from India and perhaps elsewhere as well. Now, you can also see Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon can offer some relief during this period. However, I'm focusing solely on the planets that provide us with a tangible time frame to predict major upcoming changes. So, if you're a student grappling with the challenges of being away from home and encountering hardships in a foreign country, hold on tight. The road might be rough, but your resilience and strength will guide you through. Remember, tough times are merely a chapter in your journey, not the conclusion of your story. And if you've been following the Indian stock market, it's intriguing to witness the significant surge in the Sensex and the remarkable upward trend in the equity stock market, which is indeed associated with the fifth house in astrology. Traditionally, what affects one area represented by a house might similarly impact others related to it. However, the situation seems somewhat contradictory this time around. Typically, when Ketu resides in the fifth house, the significations of this house definitely tend to suffer. So, by astrological standards, this placement might suggest challenges with respect to stock market. But here's the twist: despite Ketu's presence in the fifth house, the stock market, exemplified by the Sensex, is nudging nearly 72,000 points, which is on a remarkable upward trajectory. This appears contrary to the usual implications of Ketu in the fifth house. When we have Ketu in the fifth house significations do suffer, but here it's the opposite. So what's going on here? The rationale behind this unexpected phenomenon lies in the astrological nuances. Ketu finds itself in the sign of Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury. Virgo embodies traits such as logical thinking, calculations, scientific temperament, all governed by Mercury. However, when Ketu influences this zone, it disrupts rational thinking and calculation processes. Rather than causing a downturn in the stock market, Ketu seems to have removed the rationality in people's investment decisions. And this shift has led individuals to invest based on faith, hearsay, and narratives rather than traditional data driven or logical approaches. Now, I'm not saying that people are investing based on stories and narratives alone and have completely ignored the data, but the general air around the investment circle appears to be one of blind faith, including investments by FII. Therefore, in a somewhat paradoxical manner, the stock market has experienced an unexpected surge due to this deviation from conventional analytical strategy, seemingly prompted by Ketu's presence in Virgo. This demonstrates how astrological influences might manifest in unexpected ways, challenging conventional interpretations, and whether the stock goes up or down is now totally dependent on how people perceive the economic situation. So Ketu is definitely affecting the stock market, but in a positive way, because instead of causing it to fall, he's now taken away the scientific temperament in people, and people are more confident in the economic prospects of the country, and some even believe this optimistic outlook to the anticipation of the ruling party's re-election, adding to the overall faith in the economy. One of the news articles had quoted Mark Mobius as being bullish on the India story, as he's certain that PM Narendra Modi led BJP will be re-elected in 2024. I'm not even getting into the dynamics of who is winning the elections or who is going to win the elections. The focus here is not on predicting election outcomes, but rather on highlighting the shift in investment patterns influenced by Ketu in the Virgo sign. I'm only saying that people are investing blindly based on hunches and belief, which is signified by Ketu in Virgo, which is in a twisted way working towards increasing the income of people, which is signified by Rahu in the 11th house. It's definitely a unique scenario where astrological influences seem to have catalyzed a deviation from the norm, resulting in the increased investments driven by faith and stories instead of the anticipated negative impact. The stock market has flourished through these blind faith investments. This showcases the unpredictability and multifaceted nature of astrological influences on any area of life. I have so much more to say on Rahu Ketu alone. I'm making a separate video on Rahu Ketu transit. I'm so excited about that video. I'm almost half finished with that video. Hopefully I'll be able to come out with that by end of this month or the beginning of 2024. Alright, let's delve into another planetary player here, who is Saturn. And now remember, I mentioned that the labor force of the country is going to go through a significant shift, and that's because of Saturn. Saturn represents the masses, and he is going to be a game changer, and the workforce is undergoing some significant shifts in the coming 18 months. Saturn in the 10th house signifies a whole lot of things. Think discipline, rigidity, and a truckload of hard work coming into play. What does that translate to? Well, get ready for longer working hours, extended work weeks, and an immense amount of hard work and struggle. It's all aimed at pushing for a more productive country. And speaking of this, just recently, the former Infosys chairman N.R. Narayan Murthy stirred up quite the conversation. He urged young Indians to put in a whooping 70 hours per week. Can you imagine that? This sparked a big debate and caught the attention of not just other big shot company CEOs, but also lawmakers in the country. Saturn's influence seems to be making quite the impact on work culture and productivity discussions here. So brace yourself, guys, because this isn't a fleeting trend. What we're witnessing is just the start of a massive shift in how our country operates. There's a new norm brewing, and it involves expecting everyone to dedicate more time to earn what they used to with much less effort. Saturn's influence is going to drive a lot of folks to reconsider their income streams. Get ready to see more people exploring additional sources of income, venturing into side businesses, or taking up part-time gigs alongside their regular jobs. Why? Well, it's all about supporting their aspirations, dreams, and countering the unpredictability of employment, especially after the lessons learned from the post-COVID situation. The shift will manifest in the form of longer working hours, whether that's voluntary or if it's forced on you. This is going to happen for the entire nation. So get ready, because this change is happening, it's genuine, and you will experience its effects over time. So $1 million question here is, will the investment of longer working hours translate into tangible benefits for the country's economy and overall progress? And the answer is a resounding yes. It's poised to yield a significantly positive impact. However, the catch is that the fruition of these efforts will not materialize immediately. It's a process that demands patience, and it will take time to witness substantial results. How am I so sure? Because India has its ascendant in the Taurus sign, and Saturn becomes a very powerful Yogakarka. Initially, Saturn might usher in challenges and hardships, but the outcome of these trials promises to be exceptionally rewarding. As Saturn eventually moves away from Aquarius, it marks a pivotal shift. Remember, Aquarius represents the 11th house in the natural zodiac order, and with Saturn serving as the 10th and the 11th lord, it confirms the scenario of putting in extensive work hours to reap additional earnings and ensure definitive progress. So while the road ahead might be demanding and laden with challenges, the overarching trajectory that the collective effort put into these extended hours will pave the way for substantial economic growth and progress for the nation. Patience will be the key, as the sweet fruits of these laborious endeavors will gradually ripen over time. So that's all for today. If you want to pay consultation, I'd be happy to do a personalized reading. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe below and share this video with all your friends and family. Remember, forewarned is forearmed. I'll see you guys again with another new video very soon.